Awesome. Okay, so we might as well get started. So thank you, Jennifer, for coming for Canva 102. We're very excited to have you, and I will let you take it over.
Awesome. Thanks, McKenna. So today we are talking about Canva 102, 201. Advanced Canva is what we're talking about. So thank you if you were coming back from last week. I've heard some feedback that people really like the background remover, which did anyone get a chance to play around with the background remover? I know Terry did. No? Okay, maybe. Okay, so if you're new, you haven't met me before, my name's Jennifer Baker. I'm the facilitator today. I talk a lot about social media and content creation. I love teaching, I love webinars, and I love helping people. So this is what we're going to be doing today. So if you joined us last week we talked about using and customizing all of those templates. We talked about uploading graphics and logos, and then we talked a little bit about using frames and grids, as well as downloading appropriate file types. So today we're going to take a lot of the learning kind of in the next step. So we're going to talk about modifying images, and we touched on it a little bit. There were some questions at the end that some people had about brightness and contrast a little bit. So we'll talk a little bit more about the modifying images, videos, and animations. So that's the bulk of what we're going to spend time on, because it's super fun to do. You can have a lot of creativity. I did want to touch on getting organized with folders, and more or less so you don't become it doesn't become chaos within your Canva account. So you can set up folders within Canva, and each of these folders, now for me, I manage different accounts, so I've got different folders based on my clients, but you might have something based on departments. So for me it's clients, for you it might be departments. So I've got different folders for my photos. I have all of my designs and images. So just to give you an idea of this, so I'm going to go into my Jennifer folder here, and these are photos. So I had photos taken in 2019, so they're kind of all captured in here in one place. And then I had photos taken this year, again, all in one place. I am wearing the same shirt for consistency. I only own one shirt now. So I've got all of my images there. So think of it in your perspective. So if you run a retail shop, maybe you have folders of images for all of your Halloween stock or Christmas stock. So it might be based on that. It might be based on type. So if you run a floral shop, maybe you've got potted plants, dried flowers, and fresh flowers. So just because you're not managing multiple accounts, maybe there's different ways to use folders within here. So it's about organizing and just cleaning it up so you can find everything that you need to. The other thing is like having all of your designs in here. So I've just got different design templates based on what I'm doing. So in here, I've got a story template for, this is a Canva one, people love Canva. So I organize them in that way so they're easily accessible for me. Okay, so I can tab over to folders. I can see all my folders. I only have 2. Same thing with my designs. And then I can see my images or my logos in there. So if you want to create a folder, I think it might be one folder, like one main folder, and then you can have folders within it. So you can see your folders, and then they're all within here. But for many of you, it's going to be one folder, and then within that, you'll have organization for your images. Okay, so that's just one little thing that I wanted to mention. The other thing I did want to mention as well is the brand kit. So we talked a little bit about this week, but I do want to encourage you to look at the brand kit. At least get your logo in here and your basic brand colors, so it's easier to just quickly grab the colors that are relevant to what you need. Okay, so you're going to go to brand kit, and then we can say, if we delete it, I don't want to delete mine, but to add any sort of color, we click here. Does anyone remember what I did last week? What tool it was? Back in the day when I saw people, I'd give out prizes. Jasmine, yes, the eyedropper. I can't give prizes to you. So there is an eyedropper tool. It's a Chrome plugin. It's called Eyedropper, Color Picker, and then I can pick color from web page. And now you can see up at the top, you've got the selected color up there that you would put in here. So thank you. Thank you, Jasmine and Amy. Good. So that's my quick little recap. to get you started. So resizing in Canvas. So this also was a question from last week. I did want to throw in here, but resizing in Canvas, resizing canvases in Canva is a paid feature. So some people grumble a little bit and they say, oh, but I want to take my Instagram post and make it into a story. And it's like, well, that is a paid feature. So I'm being very upfront about it. I will show you a workaround. So basically it's this idea. Maybe you've made and really like this template on the left, it's square, you're using it maybe on your Instagram account, and then you say, oh, I also want that as a story. So all I did with one tap, I'll show you how to do it, is I made it into a story size. So it's stretched out the back, the woman's still in focus, and now I've got a story size. Amy upgraded to the resize, which is awesome. Okay. I don't want you to get in here and get angry at me. So let's go to all of my designs. And then I'm just going to create a simple design of a post. And yeah, there's that nice girl there. So I've made it. Maybe we'll customize this. That's for another task. So now I've got an Instagram post, good to go, but now I want it as a story size. So all you have to do, it's in the top left-hand corner, it says resize, and then it's actually going to give you options. So if you want it for an Instagram story and a Twitter post, it's going to say copy and resize. So what it's going to do, it's going to make 2 more files, and we will see what it looks like. It's not a perfect science, but it does look not bad. It does look not bad. So this one here is now your Twitter post. And this is your story post. And this is your original post. This one actually translated very well. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes you do have to play around with the elements a little bit to move them. But this example worked surprisingly well. So this is a paid feature. However, so if you're grumbling at the amount, it saves a lot of time. Like it saves a boatload of time. So the tool is there. If, let's say, you don't have budget, maybe the manager didn't give you budget for this program. The other, I'll say workaround is I'm going to drag my mouse and copy. Well, I have to copy the background. So I'm highlighting it and Control C or Apple C and paste. And then I'm going to do the same thing and copy and paste. See, it doesn't quite have the same placement. So you have to do a little bit of work there. So that is a workaround if you don't want to pay. It's not as automatic. It's not as seamless. Sometimes you're going to fight with it a little bit. So that's an alternative if you don't have that budget. Okay. So you can either pay for it and it'll do it somewhat automatically, or if you don't have budget, you can just start copying and pasting all the elements. Okay. So that's a little trick, a little workaround. Is there any questions about that before I get into photo editing? No? Okay. Editing images. This is where Canva can get super fun. This is like the lesser known Canva parts. So we got into this a little bit last week when there was a participant who had a question about how do I brighten, I think, or darken a color or an image. And there are basic tools, and the basic tools are brightness, contrast, and saturation. And the one on the left, so the image on the left of the coffee cup is the original image, and then the image on the right is slightly edited. So you can see that it's a bit warmer. I probably brought up the saturation and the contrast ever so slightly, but you can see that it creates that difference in the image. So let's go find that coffee cup. So I'm going to delete all of this, and then we are going to find and go to photos. Let's see, this one will do. We could do this. So here's our original. We'll start with this, and I'm going to duplicate it. So we know what we're starting with. So to edit any image, you'll need to make sure that you've clicked on it. So you've got the blue line around it. So that means it's selected. And then you will choose Edit Image, which is in the top right of the white toolbar. And then down below is Adjust. So it says Brightness, Contrast, Saturation. Okay. So we can bring up the brightness, which makes it not look like a coffee cup, or bring it down. We can look at contrast. And then saturation. So see how that makes it look really rich? So if you bring the saturation all the way down, it looks grayscale. If you bring it all the way up, it looks really kind of warm, really warm tones. And then another little trick is click the See All. So stop what you're doing and click the See All. So see Adjust, Brightness, Contrast, Saturation, and then See All. See All. And this is where you get a whole bunch of different options for your photos. So I believe there was one participant asking about the photo editing tools. This is a bulk of them in here. So we've got the 3 basics that we've talked about, but then here, I'm going to duplicate this. So this one is high contrast. High contrast. Duplicate this. And we'll go to Edit Image, See All, and then we can do Tint. So I can, kind of brings up the blues, the greens. Blur. Can blur, and again, this brings back Photoshop days. So see how I've sharpened it? And I notice this when people edit their photos too much, it's like, okay, that's not real. Like it's too sharp, it's too strong versus blur. So this is what the world looks like without my contacts in, maybe like this. But if you needed that blur, maybe it's an effect. How could you use this? So maybe we do this. Maybe you just have a background like that. That could be a nice background you've made. Okay. The X process, kind of a funky color. That's fun, actually. Let's leave that one. Duplicate this again. See All. Vignettes. Oh, it doesn't show up as well. You have to watch this one. It almost adds shadows in the corners. I'll say like an old time photo. So if you watch as I pull it over, ever so slightly brings up the darkness in the corners. Warmth. So see how it brings up the reds, the oranges, kind of the peachy tones. Clarity. That's kind of like a sharpen. I actually really enjoy that one. I like that clarity one too for this. Clarity. And then let's go Edit Image again. See All. Vibrance. That's also not bad either. It really brings out the cup. Things I didn't think I was going to say today. Really brings out the tone in that cup. That one kind of doesn't make the, it's not my favorite. Shadows, and then fade. Okay. So this is what you can do, and those are just the basic tools. So we didn't do anything with that one. So we've got clarity, which I like. It really pops the cup. We've got an X process that just gives it a different look and feel, and then we used high contrast. So I'm going to click on my grid view and see where we started with our original and see where we're going with it. Okay. Let's duplicate this again. Okay, so those are some of the basic tools. Now we're going to get into filters, and filters have become somewhat synonymous with Instagram. So you think, oh, filters, Instagram. But there's actually filters that you can use in Canva. So Bernadette just said, are you able to change background with this tool? Yes, you can change anything with this tool. So any of the images, we can change. So whether it's a picture that you've uploaded, that you've taken, or it's a photo that we've taken from the Canva library, it can be used for either. But yes, background definitely can be done as well. So we're going to get into some filters, and we're going to go through some of my favorite filters as well. Someone okay over there? Jane, you doing okay? I'm just going to mute you, okay? Maybe McKenna can mute you. Thanks. So photogenic, duotone, and color mix. So we're going to go through a couple different options here. So again, we're going to select our image that we're working on. We're going to go to edit image. And again, this is where some of the paid may come in. And the first thing first stop we're going to go is filters and see all. So again, these do resemble Instagram filters a little bit, but you can see the options and what they will do. So we can go to Epic. I love the names of these, Epic. But you're never committed just to the filter. If you look, there is a toolbar. So it says see controls. So if you're like, oh, I kind of like it, but it's a little bit too much or not enough, you can always click on the toolbar and bring down the intensity or bring up the intensity. I'll just call that our epic filter instead of an epic fail. And then let's look at another one. So filters, solar. People jump to this one because it's very bright. Actually, it looks not bad. So solar, you can see it washes out the top of the cup a little bit. So again, I'm going to go into my toolbar or controls, and I could bring it down a little bit. So if it's just too much, maybe that's a bit much, you can find a happy medium there. Okay, so that one is solar. Okay. Has anyone used these before? Amy has. Good. And then so it's kind of about, I won't go through all of them because there's other stuff I want to get to, but it's about finding one that works. My other kind of go-to is street, because it just makes a very black and white. You can do grayscale as well. I prefer street because the contrast is stronger. If I just want like a black and white image. So then that's our street. Okay. So let's take a peek at what we're doing with our picture. So this is what you can do with your pictures as well. So we can see that we've started with this one. That was pretty boring, I'd say. We've made it black and white. We've added some brightness. We've kind of made it yellow and green. This high contrast is still sort of my favorite in here. Okay. Now let's get funky with these. We're going to go back into edit image, and then we're going to go into photogenic. So these apps typically will say install app to Canva. Sometimes they're paid. Some of them are paid. And you can see here we've got none. We've got natural options. We've got warm. So let's say you run a coffee shop and the tones of it are reds and oranges. You're funky like that. So let's add this in. So now you've got this beautiful kind of red, pinky tones of your coffee shop just by clicking this. And again, we can put as much or as little intensity in there as we need to. Okay, so that was photogenic. Sangria, I think sangria is what it's going at. So let's do one that's more cool tones. So photogenic, see all. Polar, let's see. Ooh, this one's nice. I like this one. Let's go to dream. I kind of like that. So this is kind of the vibe of a lot of coffee shops, like the blue tones, kind of relaxing. Again, if it's too much or too little, we can change the intensity on it, but I do like that color. So what was this called? Dream. Photogenic dream. Let's take a peek at this for a minute here. So look at the difference in this image and how different it can be just by adding a filter. So this is what we're starting with. And now we've kind of added the cool tones, almost relaxing. And then this one's that vibrant pop, almost, I don't want to call it a nightclub, but very like in your face, oranges and pinks tones, just with a simple filter. And then let's do another one here. Edit image, photogenic. Now we can get, and this is not for every business, but it's kind of fun. So we've got ColourPop heat wave, photogenic. I think ColourPop is what this was, maybe ColourPop. And you think, how on earth am I going to use this? You could make it into a background. So now we've added a very light, we've added a transparency on it. So it's a little bit lighter. It's not as in your face. And now maybe it's a background. And then you put some bold black text over top. So let's just quickly, I'll add so something like that. Like it's, yes, the ColourPop probably is not for every business, but maybe you have a iced coffee and you're a really funky shop. This is now your background. It's smooth, cold, and tasty. Angelo, maybe coffee. Something like that. And then, you know, adding more elements that we did talk about last week. Okay. Which has come a long way from this. Okay. How's everyone feeling about this so far? Pretty good? Not bad? Okay, we're now entering my favorite, my favorite one. It is duotone. So duotone, and this is what I use a lot. I use it a lot for shadows. So duotone, these are the options now that it's giving you. So let's go just with fuchsia, for lack of better. So now we're making a hot pink, red coffee cup. And again, this is where we can lighten it up. So it's maybe a background. You could do something like that. The other thing you can do with this, I'm going to just make this small so you can see. I'm going to go into edit image and I'm going to go to background remover. Just give it a minute. Ooh, that didn't work out as well. So we're going to go to erase. So we'll erase this kind of back image here. And this. Ooh, I'm struggling with this one. Restore. Not my best work there, but now I've got a pink coffee cup that I could use. And what I would typically do, I could now send to back. And now if I want to make the coffee cup pop, I could overlay it for something like that. Or I could do the inverse. So let's say this is my original. I'm going to duplicate it and I'm going to take the background off of this one. Edit image, remove background, hoping this one's a little bit better than the last background. Ah, that one's much better. So this one I'm not a fan of. So let's do something funky with this. And let's go into duotone and green, because I like green. We'll bring it up here. Or just not do green. There we go. So now I've got my background and I can send it to the back. And now I've overlaid the actual cup and then I've changed the background. So this is how you can start to, no pun intended, layer your ideas. So you're like, okay, I want a plain, clear background. Maybe my corporate colors are green, but I don't want my actual product to be green, or I don't want the focus to be green. That's where you start to bring out the background remover. So you can make your products. Give it a second. What did it just do? So you can make your products stand out by not coloring them and then using these photo tools to almost blur the background, color the background, add some sort of effect to the background. So now I've had duotone with a background remover. Duotone. Okay. And what I've done with, even in my own marketing, funny that it keeps doing that to me. I'm going to say edit image, background remover. So now I'm taking the background out of the other one. Okay, so now I've got two of these, and I'm going to bring this one forward. There we go. So now I can make it almost like a green background or a shade, you could say. So something like that. So it's not that you would make your entire canvas fuchsia or purple or green. It's now you're going to start to say, okay, I want my background to be a certain color. Maybe I want to do a shadow. And then you're going to use other tools that we learned last week about something like this. So you might have a shaded coffee cup that has a green, I'll call it, for lack of a better word, shadow or outline or border, something like that. Maybe it's for St. Patrick's Day and you're selling St. Patrick's Day, whatever, you want to have the green undertones, you can do that. So let's copy this. So there's a little bit more that you can do with duotone as well. So Jasmine, do you have your hex number handy for your company? Because you were really excited about that last week. If you do, put it in the chat. I'm just calling on people. You were excited last week, so I'm hoping that you're still excited this week about it. Yes, do you have it for your like corporate colors for the company? If you don't, that's okay. I'll just use a different. So with most things like duotone, there is the C controls. So you're not limited. So now this is where you can start to, again, build in your corporate colors. I'm picking this because I know yours is kind of a blue, Jasmine. So the shadows, there's my template here. So I can pick, oh God, green, not my best work. Okay, that's not great. So let's try this again. Let's go this way. Okay. So this is where having your brand template set up is a good thing, because now I can say, ooh, I want to use duotone. I want to have a brand consistent background. I can just use my palette. That's, it's okay. It's okay. So now you can customize it. Oh, I didn't save. Make sure to save your work. We'll just go to blush and then edit. So green, I think I just did this backwards again. Yeah. There you go. And then apply. Okay. So now it's brand consistent. So if you've got that set of colors, you can use them in the duotones, which is one of my favorite things. The other filters don't quite have that feature, whereas this one does. So we'll call this one duo again. Okay. Okay, and then the last one I'm going to show you before I go back to the presentation is called Color Mix. So this one basically adds a shade or a filter on top of your images. So again, this one, I'm using the rainbow one because it's kind of easiest to see. So if I want a super intense rainbow, I can bring up the amount. And again, this looks like one of those heat maps that people use to calculate energy loss in your house. But again, the tools are there. Maybe you just want a light colored. So again, is this something St. Patrick's Day, or if you're doing any sort of like pride awareness, like, is there reason to use rainbows? Maybe, maybe not. But again, that tool does exist for you. So this one is color mix. Edit image, we're going to go down to color mix. And then these ones I just love. Parakeet, I like birds, so I always pick the parakeet one. So again, now you've totally changed the colors. So now it's pink background, green cup, and you can change it. You can go super funky with it. So now we've got a red kind of backdrop with a blue cup. Okay. So before I move on from these, don't worry, there's more to get into. Is there any questions about those? I'm picking a coffee cup that was just kind of generic. Any questions before I move on with these? Yes, this can certainly be done with your own photos. So let me just show you. Uploads. So here's my brand picture, essentially, with my old phone and such. So I can go to edit image. I can add duotone. Maybe, there we go. Yep, so you can do it with your own pictures. And again, you can make it a nice light background so that you're not using something generic and it's you and your business. So yes. Great. Okay, so other tools, and these ones are funny. I feel they're funny because they make new technology look like old technology, but there's one called Screen. So that it gives the idea of, if anyone had aerial television, that is me, that is what I grew up with. I did not have cable. So drill and corduroy is how I watched most of my TV up until my teenage years. I don't ever really want to go back to that, but you can if you want to. So again, these tools are here if you want to have that screen look added to any of your images. So Bernadette, if it's uploaded, great. If it's from Canva, also works as well. And then our background remover, which I've kind of woven back into this presentation. So let's go through a couple more of these. Make sure we've got this. So now we're starting again. We're going to have this selected, and then we're going to go to edit image, and we are going to go to the bad TV. No, it's screen. So we've got halftone. So you can go very artsy with your images. And again, I see a lot of these used as backgrounds because it's almost generic enough that it could be a background. You have the option as well to see controls. So this is where you can see the pixelation. So this is halftone, I think it was. So that's pretty neat. You know, something like that for a background. So now we'll go back to edit image. We'll see what else is in here. Trippy. Again, a different tool that's available. So the next one that I wanted to show you is called Smart Mockups. So some of you might find, a lot of use for this, and some of you might not, but again, I want to show you that the option is here. So if you've ever seen Instagram posts with pictures in a cell phone, I'm using Smart Mockups here. So it took my image that I was working on, and basically it's almost like using a frame that we talked about last week, but it does it more automatically for you. So these smart mockups, now my picture is in this person's cell phone. Okay. So if you've ever been on a website, or maybe you're a creator in that you create hoodies and coffee cups and, hard goods to sell. So I can click on sweatshirt. Let's get it in here. So now it took the design of the design and put it on a sweatshirt. Okay, let's try this again. Let's just put this one here, and then we'll say edit image. We'll go back to our sweatshirt. We added too many layers to that. Even something like this. So if you're doing online webinars for your services, you're taking it and then it's automatically in there. So it is very similar to using a frame, but this makes it look more realistic, and it's done automatically for you. And then if you need to change it around, you can do that. There is a little bit of flexibility there. This one doesn't have much. Okay. So the smart mockups are a neat tool that does automate some things for you. Some people in the class today might have some use for it if you are a creator and maybe you put your designs on, you know, different hard goods, or even if it's something like shop online and you want to see your shop on a cell phone or on a laptop computer. There's a lot of different options in here. So even something like this is going to be odd because it's going to be a picture and a picture here. So if you're selling your artwork, you can say picture your artwork by your front, whatever this is called, front area. And now it's a picture that now you've inserted in here. Okay, that's perfect. Yes. So that's a great example, Bernadette. This would be a good option that it almost like places that sculpture like in a different, it should work for you, but that's one option for you. Okay. And I think we are done with filters. Let's just make sure we've gone through all the filters that I want to. Duotone, letter, mosaic. Yeah, those are the main. There's a lot in here. Some of them are pretty funky. The last thing I want to show you is shadows. So I'm going to do a background remover, and then I do want to show you the shadows. So Bernadette, that's all under filters. So I'll show you in a moment once my background goes away. Okay, so I'm going to apply. So to get to that, Bernadette, it's edit image and then smart mockups. Okay, so the last thing that I'll show you is your shadows. So right now you've got your coffee cup, but it's like flat on the screen. So you may want to add some sort of shadow to make it not so flat, so it pops it a little bit. You do have control over the shadow, so you don't want it too intense. So something like that. And they can change around where the shadow is coming from. Okay. So now you can have a shadow. So it doesn't look so flat on your screen. So you can use this with background remover and then have the shadow underneath. Okay. All right, how's everyone feeling so far? Questions before I move on to the next topic? Most of them are within paid. Some of them you'll be able to access. So some of the more basic ones under edit image. So anything under adjust should be free. Some of the other ones, if they require an install, might be a paid Canva feature. Okay. All right. So we're going to get into animations. Animations and adding movement. So now that you've got the basics to Canva, you might want to start adding some movement into your designs as well. And by movement, it doesn't mean that you have to start taking live video of yourself or a lot of video. Movement can be as simple as including this little leaf that's moving. Okay, so then this could be saved as an MP4 file, or it could be saved as a GIF. And we talked a little bit about that. But some people think video and then they think has to be long, it's expensive, I can't do it. when in fact, sometimes video and movement can be as simple as, you know, this little leaf that's got movement. It adds detail to your image and draws the eye in. Okay, so you don't have to be scared of it. And then other people, so another type is what most people think about with video and movement is they're adding in something like this. So we've got our image, it's a new autumn sale, it's a very generic picture of autumn colors. This is what most people consider. There is a good selection of videos within Canva that are free. You can upload your own videos if you're taking them on your phone or device. Maybe you're doing a tour of your office or maybe some new products that have come in. You can upload your own, or you can use what's existing on Canva. So let's do an example of this. So I'm going to just see if there's something for video. So I typed video as an option, and now I've got, so it's these kids playing. So just check out my new post. It's just a video. So if you're starting with a template, that's fine. We can go into elements and I will type in autumn. And I want to go over to video now. So and again, because we're using frames, it's just going to place in here. This is not a lot of movement. It's pretty slow. So within here, as soon as you click on it, these are the options. These are the colors for the iPhone outline, so the outline of the frame. This scissor mark here, it tells you how long the image or how long the video is. So 32 seconds is a long time, so you might want to bring this right down to like 2.5. And especially if it's for an Instagram story, they're not very long. Okay. The next thing, there is sound. I don't know if you can hear the sound, but there is sound. It's kind of the rustling of leaves. You can bring down the sound if you don't want it. Don't want the sound from the video, so you can bring that down. Okay. Now you've got a little bit of movement. So let's take out this for right now. So something else that you can then add into here, we've got autumn selected. I'm going to choose graphics. Maybe leaves. Of course, they don't pop up right away. All right, let's go here and say animated and apply filters. So now I've got so now I've got the video, and on top of that, I've added in a little sticker. Okay. So when you are searching for animations, don't hesitate to go back to this toolbar up here and search for animated. As you can see, it wasn't as easy to find something. So I said, okay, let's go up here. Let's go to animated. Let's apply our filters and then work with what we've got in here for that animation tool. Now, when you are downloading something like this, this is where you're going to have to figure out, well, in this case, it's going to be an MP4 file. So because it is an Instagram story, you're going to download as an MP4 file. So it's saying suggested, and I'm going to download it. If you wanted to download it as a GIF, which could also work because it is short enough, I'm also going to download one of those as well. So I'll show you the difference. So the MP4 will play like a video. movement in the back, the leaves in the front. It will start and stop. Whereas the GIF, which is still downloading because it's a massive file, will continue to loop. And just give it a minute. There we go. Yeah, it might be a bit too big for some. So a GIF, it loops. Do you see how it almost like jumps a bit? So it's just going to loop. It's going to loop, loop, loop. So it's different than an MP4, and that's the biggest difference. It doesn't have that start stop. It's continuous. Now, if you want to start to add, I'm going to share my sound. So if you want to start to add any sort of audio to this, you can search for free. Let's make sure my sound's not too high. It's a little ominous sounding, but so now you can have your sound associated with it. So it would have to be an MP4 now that we've added in your sound. But it does add something nice to it, provided you don't scare people with really loud music and people aren't expecting it in a story format. So let's bring this in. So it will default, excuse me, at the beginning to the first part of the song. You can just move your cursor to find something maybe later on in the song that works for you. Maybe that's more in line of what you're looking for. This is a minute in length, but we've shortened it to the 2.5 seconds. If it's too loud, if you want it soft, we bring it all the way down. And then you can have a soft kind of undertone to the MP4 that you've now created. Okay, so let's download this. And we'll see what it looks like. Why would you choose either for a post, GIF versus MP? So Terry, that's a good question. So the MP4 in Facebook will basically play once and stop. It will be uploaded as a video. So somebody may watch it, they may not. Whereas a GIF acts more like a photo in that it will just continually loop and they don't have to start stop. Not specifically for Facebook. Same thing for an Instagram post. So it acts more like an image and there is no start stop to it. And then Lisa is saying, so the MP4 plays once and stops. Yes. So MP4 is basically like a movie. So think about when you've watched Netflix and you're watching something, you press pause, it's just done. And there's that start part to it. That's MP4 format. Whereas the GIF, those funny things we send to our friends in Messenger, they just continually loop. And they're funny, and the dumpster is burning, and that is funny. So that's the difference. Start, stop versus continuous. So that might be nice for a reel because it's only going to play for 15 seconds and then they'll swipe to the next thing or they'll tap to the next thing. So for something like, let's go to a post, you may want to have GIF format because it's going to continually loop for you. So under elements, I'll just type in shopping because we're all thinking about shopping these days. There we go. Let's see what they're doing. Maybe they're online shopping. I don't know. They've got matching red tops on them. Maybe they found a good deal. They found the store. They're going in. So you could do something like this. And then we can now add audio. So see how adding that song alongside the video kind of changes the tone of it? So I'm going to detach this. So right click, detach from background. So layering on what we talked about last week, if I type in frame, right, I could put them in a frame. So I could have them in a frame. So we're going to do the same thing here. So I see Canva almost getting into a little bit of video editing, a little bit. It's not quite there, but. So that video could be used as something for like promoting a sale. The girl's looking up, she's saying, oh, there's the store, let's stop in. And then adding in that music. So then that, when it's downloaded as an MP4, is going to play once and then it will stop. It will have music. If it's a GIF, it will continuous, no music. Okay. So other things that we can do with this. Let's add in audio. Add in elements and shopping. And then I want animated. Or shop animated. Or animated though. Canva has lied to me. There's usually some in here for sale. You can add in your sale. You can move this around. And now we can add in our background. And then what else could we add here? Red ribbon. Position backwards. So now you've got your red ribbon, you've got your sale. This is awkward. I'm going to move this around though. Something like that. And now you've also got the animate. So now you've got your video, you've got the sound, and now we can add in that animate, which we did talk about last week. So animate, pop. I hope you're not getting sick of the sound yet. Let's just turn it down. So that pop happens once as kind of an entry to that video. So if you do want to, again, layer it on. So you want them to tumble in, breathe, and then maybe so it's starting to layer kind of all of the concepts that we talked about last week and then building them into adding video, adding the animation. Okay. And then again, for downloading something like this, it would be an MP4 format with the music. Without music is a GIF format. Okay. If I would like to go through an example of somebody's business. So if you put your business in the chat and want me to make something for it, just kind of pulling in all of the pieces that we've talked about the last 2 weeks, that will be our last activity for today's session, and then we can take questions after that. Sensi. Garden inspirations, we've got Sensi. Sensi is like candles, right? Primarily, yes. Go. Wax and warmers, not candles. Ooh. That's a bit complicated. Cleaning products. Okay, I'm just gonna go with cleaning products. Cleaning, background. Ooh, those are fun. Why is that in cleaning background? I don't know, but I love it. I'm gonna add this to my likes. Oh, clean background, that's why. Interesting, those are beautiful. Okay, so it's all about the keywords that you use. I don't know what that is. So when you see things like this, they're generally meant for backgrounds. So see that? What's this? No, this one. Bathroom cleaner, counter cleaner. This is what I'm looking for here. Like a goat. Okay, so we can go with something like this as a starting point. So we've got our background. In this case, we do have the option to, Carrie's really excited about the products here. So we do have the option to change colors. So I'll just make them maybe these green tones. Doesn't look like you can change all the colors, which is kind of annoying with that though. And then what I'll do, generally I'll make it light into a background format. And then what I want to do is add an image or a video. So I want to add a frame. So frame, and then maybe a cell phone. And again, watch those lines for balance. So I've got my cell phone in there, and then I'm going to type in cleaning. And I think Carrie said something about countertops. Okay, so this person's cleaning countertops with whatever. And again, with any stock photo or video, it's not going to be your product, but it could generically work. So even something like this person here, this looks more generic because you can't see the product that they've used. So it's just, you're going to have to use it with caution if it is a stock photo. Or even, do you do windows? Everyone loves when you... Okay, I'm sorry. I don't get that dolled up to clean my windows. I don't know about you guys, but I do not. I put mascara on today and my husband's like, you look not bad, honey. I'm like, well, that's what you get after 10 years of marriage right there. So let's just go back to this countertop. So now we've got our video in there. I want to look at, well, this is like domestic goddess right here. It almost matches what she's wearing too. So now I've got my video. I'm going to shorten this. So it's 24 seconds, or yeah, 24 seconds. I'm going to shorten because we don't need to see that much cleaning. If you need to reposition the video, just like we do with any of the other elements, you double click. So if you wanted to see maybe more of the table, you double click, it will bring up a frame, and then you can see more of what she's wiping down. So now we've got our video, we've got a little graphic in there. I'm going to add some text. Clean, cool, and collected. And then ABC cleaning products. So do you remember what we can do with our fonts? So remember with our fonts, we've got effects with these as well from last week. And we have our shadow, which is nice. I'll add a pink because there's pink kind of around. And then even with something like this, I can add my effects. Nope. A little bit of tone there. So clean, cool, and collected. It's still a little bit dry, so I'm going to add kind of a background onto the words. So I'm going to do that just with a simple, I just search for shape. And And I could either do that with something a little bit funky. So clean, cool, and collected, ABC cleaning products, 2 back. And then I don't like that peach or that pink. So let's find kind of a brighter, maybe a softer, brighter pink. That's better. So clean, cool, and collected. I'm going to change this to more pinks. Okay, so clean, cool, and collected ABC cleaning products. You might have some sort of call to action somewhere around here. You could have another shape in and behind. So it's all about adding texture with the shapes. Simple shapes will do that. Position back, back, and then we're going to make it maybe hot pink. And then we'll move it back. Okay. So you can do simple things like this. So let's see what we've got. We haven't added any sound to it yet, though. Oh, I have to explain this too. There we go. So you might want to have it a little bit longer, but again, very simple like that. We've added in a frame, we've added a background, a video, we've got a little graphic here. We've added some simple texture with shapes. We've added effects to your text. And then the last thing that I would add, because we've already got music in from the previous one, I would add any animations that you wanted. So if you wanted your text to come in under animate, and maybe it's typewriter. And then we'll make this a little bit longer. Let's just see what this looks like. Okay, so then that's kind of a combination of just layering all the elements that we've talked about. Okay. Carrie, I hope that example was okay. It's not a bad design, it's pretty good. Okay, so that covers everything that I wanted to talk about. If you've got any questions or you want me to go through kind of anything that we've talked about or even anything that we didn't talk about, please let me know in the chat and then we'll get those questions answered for you. Yes, Jasmine. So you're picking up on that. Canva can piece together video. So it's almost like if you look at each frame of this as a different video. So this is like frame 1, and then this could be frame 2. It absolutely can start to piece together videos. I don't necessarily show it because it's not the most effective tool for that, but it can be done. So cleaning videos. I'll just put a different one in here. I don't know, this person's cleaning their phone. Just to show you what it does. I'll flip to frame 2. So you can start to do videos with it. It's not the most robust video editing tool out there. But that's one option. So Carrie, is there a way to be able to share our design with others? Like team members, Carrie, is what you're thinking? Because you can share. So if you want them to view or edit, we need like a file that other team members. So if you share them this way, they can edit or view. So up at the top, it says share, and then you would type your team members or whoever, colleagues, friends up there. That's what you do. And then, yeah, they can edit, play around. Sometimes you can just make a copy of it too, and then share the copied file so they don't mess around too much with your good file. Okay, any other questions? Is that it? That was easy. Normally there's a lot more questions. Yes, you can add your own audio. So Jasmine, so under uploads, it says upload media. I don't have any audio, but if I did, you could definitely do that there. Again, these are new features, so record yourself. So you can see that they're trying to get into that video editing software. It's not quite there, but you can definitely do like a voiceover if need be. Or if you've got access to like a royalty-free like sound collection, you could do that as well. How do you go about resizing on Canva for Facebook and Instagram for ad posts? So that's something we talked about a little bit earlier, Sandy. So when you're looking at your posts like this, so this is for Instagram, you can always go to resize, and then I want Instagram story. So up at the top, I'm going to click resize, and I'm going to select Instagram story, and then I'm going to say copy and resize. So you can see this one didn't transfer over as, I'll say, seamlessly as the other one. So I just have to kind of extend the background out a little bit. Maybe make her a little bit bigger. So that would be part of that paid Canva. Otherwise, the trick I showed earlier is a copy and paste of all the elements into, in this case, it was an Instagram story. When you complete your ad, is it automatic picked up? So here you're still going to have to download it, and you can download it as a PNG. I would always rename it as like Instagram story size. If I'm over, where am I? If I'm here, I would call it Instagram post size. Can you resize for an Instagram thumbnail? Are you talking about Reels, Jasmine? Profile photo. Oh, for profile photo. You want to know my trick with profile photos? It's a really great question. So I will show you what I do with mine. So the first thing I do is look for my folder, which is not here. That's okay. And then I'm just going to create a new design. So I always start with square. Yeah, okay. Here's the thing. Get a square template, go to elements, click circle, okay? Because this is going to define where the profile picture can fit. So you got your circle, you got your square. So basically you need to get your logo within the square. It's kind of like a game. So then we're gonna go to my uploads and find my logo. It is, Canva's having a heart attack here. Oh, my logo's not there. Folders, my folder. Okay, so if I did something like this, you're gonna say like, I don't know if it's gonna fit in the folder or not, or in the profile picture. So then I'll make this a different color and I'll add a transparency to this. So I'll say, okay, now it's fitting within it. So I can just make it bigger. So long as I'm within the circle, it's not going to be cut off. You see what I did? And then I center it. And I'll send it all the way to the back, delete my circle, and then I bring up the transparency. So I know that will fit within the circle of the profile photo. Mind you, this is obviously not scaled because it's blurry, but that's what I do. I just add a circle and I just fit it within that circle. That's my little trick. That's my little trick that I do, Jasmine. Does that make sense for everyone? You're welcome. Okay. So yeah, I just use a basic square, put a circle, and then basically make sure I can fit the whole constraints of that logo within the circle. Good. Any other questions? Well, I guess if there's no other questions, McKenna, was there anything you wanted to say before we sign off?
Yeah, thank you everyone for coming. And thank you so much, Jennifer, for doing this for us. We definitely learned a lot, so thank you so much. And yeah, if you guys have any questions, I'm sure you can email Jennifer later if you have them, or email me. I can, refer you to Jennifer, sort of thing. But yeah, thank you guys for coming.
Okay. And like always, tag me in your creations. I love to see them. Okay. Thanks, everyone.